Continuing study of the Rudra, mantra number 6, Anumaka number 3. Namasruka vibhyo jighagam sadbhyo mushnatam pataye namaha. So Sruka means it is a yantra or a device that actually protects a person. It is something similar to say a missile system. The whole missile system is a organized, perfected, manufactured yantra. So in armed body, hand-to-hand combat, the limit of a person's strength is limited to how his single person's strength is there. But what if you give a weapon to a person? What if you give a yantra to a person? Then he can be so lethal that, for example, a person sitting and just flipping a switch, you can actually drop an atom bomb, killing millions of people at the same time. So this is called sruka. So whoever is holding such yantra, such sruka vibhyaha, who use it either to protect themselves or to hurt others, to him, in him, Lord Shiva is there. Sruka vibhyo namaha. Then jighagam saha, as I said just now, jigham saha, it will become like jigham saha. That means those who kill animals, that means like hunters, those who kill living beings like murderers. So Shiva, in being in Sruka vibhyaha, he will protect if we are attacked. If actually we are attacked, you will be able to kill the other person also, and it can be the other way around also. So either way, he is in both he can be both the protector and the slayer. So the animals themselves are given many weapons of self-defense and also of offense. For example, the deer has got horn, then they have speed, then there are animals like tigers who have got claws, again speed, and then they can move very stealthily, and they have very strong hide with which they can protect themselves, their protective gear. All these things are in Lord Shiva who is making all that happen. Then Mushnata means those who are standing crops. So they will just come from somewhere and then they will steal your standing crops. So that also is Mushnatam Pataye Namaha. He is the Lord of those people also. Then, so how do we understand this? First of all, nothing is possible without the Chaitanyam. The body, the weapons, and so on and so forth, it is all inanimate and jada only. So every jadavastu, every inert object has got to be energized. So that energizing Atman, Brahman is none other than Shiva. So the sage is also talking about this to train us not to become judgmental. Because otherwise, suppose we are very judgmental, and then I had all the power. For some petty theft, I may actually give death sentence to a person. Isn't it? So therefore, we have to develop that sarvatma bhava. Being in sruka vibhyaha, being in jigagam saha, being in mushnataha, he is the bhayakrit. By giving those powers in me, he will make me bhayanashanaha. So that is why in the Vishnu Sahasranama, Vishnu is called as Bhayakrit Bhayanashanaha. So if somebody is attacking me, he is Bhayakrit. If I am defending myself, he is Bhayanashanaha. So to attack somebody, Shiva's energy must be there. To defend from difficulty, Shiva's energy must be there. So this is the concept of Sarvatma Bhava. There is another important point here. Why should Shiva be in inauspicious things also, in harmful things also, and not only in what is noble and good? And for that the answer is Ishvara has to be dvandvatitaha. He must be beyond dualities. Because if Shiva has got duality, what are the symbols of duality? Ragadvesha, Shita Ushna, heat, cold, likes and dislikes, everything that is opposite, then what we will do, we will choose what is convenient for us, isn't it? Whereas Shiva has to be Dvandvatita, he has to just let everything function for whatever that entity is designed for. Another important concept we have to understand here. Because Shiva is the Dvandvatita Chaitanya, he gives us free will. What is the origin of free will? Freedom to exercise free will, how can we get unless Shiva lets us be? The only way he can let us be is by being himself Dvandvatitaha. And then he will also, what he does is, he will delegate the responsibility to us. What is the outcome of this? Any outcome of our action is our own making. So he will let us design our life in any manner. What is the advantage of this presence of Ishvara? By that, an evil person has an opportunity to change himself and become noble. Otherwise it will never be possible if he was going to take a side. If he says, I am going to be only in the side of all good people, and therefore that Chaitanyam is denied to people who are not so good, and they will never get the opportunity. So he will sit in them also and inspire. This is what we say, you listen to your conscience. They have the conscience, they know what they are doing is wrong. Otherwise, why should this Mushna, and then this Jigagumsa come stealthily? Why should this thief come stealthily and steal something? It is because he knows that it is wrong, and he knows that he will be hurt if he is caught. So that feeling, that knowledge that what he is doing is wrong, that's all Shiva does sitting inside our heart. So we have got to sensitize our hearing so that we listen to his advice. So then, suppose I say that I am an evil person, but then I am going to change. How will Ishvara bless me? Because he is Dvandvatita, because he is also a Karuna Pura, he is full of compassion. As soon as I realize my sins and I surrender to him, then by giving up Papa Karya, he will also bless. That means in the Vedic vision, there is no damnation. You are never condemned to go to hell. So this is how Shiva talks about it. Then another thing. You see in all our Puranas, there are Rakshasas. The Rakshasas become extraordinarily evil. Right? And then a Devata will take responsibility of killing that Rakshasa. Correct? Then what do we say? Anybody who is killed in the battle will go to heaven. That Dharma Shastra is there, right? Anybody who is killed. That is why you know that beautiful incident in Mahabharata. In Mahabharata, all the 100 children are killed, and then everybody is dead. Gandhari asks Krishna, why don't you take me into the battlefield, and I want to see all my dead children. And then he goes on pointing out one by one. And then finally they come to Duryodhana's body. And then Draupadi asks, is he also going to heaven? Her own son. Gandhari asks. Gandhari asks, is he, Duryodhana, also going to heaven? And Krishna says, yes. he will also go to heaven. Now you see the Shiva in all these things. What Shiva does is, when a person becomes, for example, as Saddam Hussein, Adolf Hitler, of course, they died like cowards, and that's a different case. But any of them who have actually been in combat and killed, they go to heaven because Hatova prapsyase swargam. Bhagavad Gita. So you see, even for the most evil person, Rakshasa, the Devatas will not go and kill them in their house. They challenge the Rakshasa to come to a battle. And there is a fight, a battle ensues. And in the battlefield, the Devata kills that person so that he can go to heaven. If there was no compassion, if there was no Shivatvam, how was this possible? So you see, suddenly now, whether Devi is killing Mahishasura, she could have definitely gone and just killed him in his bedroom, isn't it? Then he would not have gone to heaven. No chance. So therefore challenge him into a war and then kill. See, this is the Shivatvam. And that is why he becomes worshipful. This is called Bhagavat Karunya. Mantra number 7. Namo asimadbhyo naktancharadbhyah prakrantanam pataye. The sentiment is same here. Asi means sword. Asimadbhyah means those who are wielding sword. Naktam charadbhyah. Nakta means night. Charadbhyah means movement. That is nocturnal, both animals and humans, nocturnal. Prakrantaha. Prakrantaha are those who actually rob to kill. So they just don't rob and take away your wealth. They also kill. So again, not much commentary is required for that. Mantra number 8. Nama Ushnishine Giricharaya Kulunchanam Pataye Namaha. Ushnisha means the turban or its headgear. So if you tie a headgear or a muffler, then it's harder to recognize. So a very known person will disguise himself by means of changing the headgear. So he will come and then he will also become a thief, a cap, a hat. That's why all the spies in the movies have a hat. Ushnishine. Giricharaya. Simple translation, the wandering in the hills. Kuluncha. Kulunchas means, kum means bhumi, earth. That is those who appropriate others' property, land, house. So you have heard of a lot of land grabbers, house grabbers nowadays. So all of them can be called as kulunchas. If you want more information, open any Indian news channel, you will find lot of kulunchas there. Because it's very typically we have heard that if you are here in this country, you own a site in India, and then you don't fence it and nobody is taking care of it, tomorrow there's going to be somebody's building itself, or a shanty or a building. So they are all kulunchas. So all these ideas are completely consolidated. And then there is a Upanishad statement in the Shvetashvatara Upanishad, Eko Devaha Sarvabhuteshu Gudhaha. Eko Devaha Sarvabhuteshu Gudhaha means in every living beings there is one Ishvara, one Shiva, who is hidden, one who is hidden in all. That's why we also use the term Vasudeva. Vasudeva means one who has made us as his clothing. So, Vasa Achadane, it comes from the Sanskrit root, Vasa Achadane. That is why the earth is also called as Vasu, Vasudha, Vasundhara. It is because all the wealth is covered by the earth. So, therefore, similarly, our body is actually the covering of Ishvara. Body means our body, thinking, mind, intellect, all this attitudes. All of those things are the covering of Ishvara. If we dirty the cover, what can he do? His transparency of shining onto our wisdom will become less and less. This also we have seen in the Gita, that gradation. That is, a person will be so much in darkness and ignorance. Yatholbena vrato garbha. Just as in the womb, the child is in layers and layers and layers of cover, that it is in total darkness. Then if there is fire on which there is a layer of ash, then also the fire is not seen. Or it could be as little as just some dust on the mirror. So all these sadhanas are so that we keep all those things clean, so our face can be seen very well in the mirror, and then so on and so forth. Now, that Ishvara is there in inanimate objects. Ishvara is seen in good people. Ishvara can be seen in innocent children. Very easy to understand. So this burden of this entire Anuvaka is to train us to see Ishvara in bad people also. That means not that you are going to make friendship with them and then you are going to live with them. But the thing is, you don't condemn them, you probably just punish them for that particular act. See, that is why all the criminal procedure codes clearly define, saying that this is the crime, this is the extent of the crime. For this crime, this is the punishment. So just and justice is all established because of Shiva's presence. But this is very hard to see without this Anuvaka. See, that is why the sage lists all these negative people. And then one more thing. How does he watch all these things? How does he make sure that he is in all these entities and is making a list? Again, Shvetashvatara says, he is Sakshi Cheta. He is the witness energy, the essence of the witness, as a witness. So what is the quality of a witness? The quality of a witness is not even blinking of the eye. If Ishvara blinks the eye, within the time of blinking, he may slip through and something doesn't come to his knowledge. This is why in all our Puranas we say, Devatas do not blink. So they just simply make it into a story, but here is the Shastra part of that. Because he is Sakshi Cheta and therefore doesn't blink. And he will be watching every single one of our actions. And therefore, the real Sruka is the Yantra. Sruka is the machine that we talked about. The real Sruka, called the Karma Chakra, the Karma Yantra, is in the hands of Shiva. That's why Stella Kramarish and others called it as the presence of Shiva. What a beautiful phrase. The presence of Shiva. So the next important question arises is, we gave a list of all these evil people. And we said that he is the indweller. We said he is the Karmadhyaksha. Then, does all these things taint him? Because there is a thing called Samsarga Dosha. Samsarga Dosha means when we are in the association of anything. When you are in the association of good people, you become good. When you are in the association of evil people, evil things, you become evil. You can only resist up to a certain point. After that, it is dangerous to be in the company of evil people. So here is Shiva is in the company of all these evil entities, so is he also tainted? How do we answer that question? Again we have to surrender to Upanishad, and the Upanishad says he is Nirgunaha. That means he has no attributes whatsoever. It is like a pure transparent, absolutely transparent crystal. If you keep a red rose, it is red. If you keep a white rose, it is white. That's it. The whiteness or the redness does not taint him. Another example, I think, did I give yesterday probably? It is just like you take your children to the Ferris wheel, right? You take your children to the Ferris wheel. So, everybody is sitting in the Ferris wheel and enjoying it, right? But do you notice that fellow who is actually turning the wheel? Anybody watches him? Nobody looks at him, right? He will be turning that wheel very, very perfectly, but he will not be rotating in the wheel. Similarly, Ishvara is there sitting and turning the entire samsara chakra constantly. He is not in the samsara chakra, but he is making everything turn and we don't see him. Isn't it? Similarly, Ishvara sits in everybody's hearts. And then he makes us do whatever we have to do. Brahmayan sarvabhutanam yantra rudhani mayaya. Now there also beautifully Krishna uses the same term. As though you are caught in the yantra of Maya. Yantra rudhani mayaya. So now the text moves on to talk about nation. See, now so far in this part of the Rudra, they were talking about one-to-one, what is the characteristic of one person. So now it expands into who attacks the nation, who guards the nation. We'll see that in the next class.